The landscape of Punjab has continuously been reshaped in varied ways from medieval to contemporary times. Medieval Punjab's physical, political, as well as social contours have remained in a constant state of flux and dialogue. Across the frontiers of the large province evolved identities that were sub-regional and local. There could thus be several imaginations of cultural zones within which the space that was identified as Punjab. This long transformation assumed peculiarly complex dynamics with the sudden and catastrophic partition of the province in 1947, when the imagined borders increasingly became non-porous and the territorial contours of nation-state boundaries became permanent. An important repercussion of this mammoth transformation was the terrible loss of lives and forced migration, leading to demographic reconfiguration and social reimagination of space across the region. Yet another implication of this process was abandonment of Sufi saint shrines in Indian Punjab and temples and gurdwaras in Pakistan Punjab. This event also shook the centuries-long evolution of a Hindu-Sikh social milieu associated with veneration of Sufi mystics. Punjab was a Muslim majority province pre-partition. Post-partition, Indian Punjab was reduced to a Hindu-Sikh majority state, and by 1966, when it was again reorganized, Punjab in India became a Sikh majority state. It therefore becomes interesting to know what happened to Sufi saint shrines in a non-Muslim social milieu. Harjot Oberoi states that in the pre-partition Kutodian settings, Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims participated in religious festivals of each other. Despite the communal politics of the 1940s, the shrines of Sufi mystics continue to attract people of various hues. After the partition of Punjab, a large number of shrines that were earlier under the control of Muslim caretakers remained desolate for a while. Even when taken over by a new set of caretakers, restoration of ritual practices took a longer time. Several of these shrines were looted and plundered and mosques converted into private residences. The restoration of ritual practice was a long-drawn process and involved absorption of Sufi shrine into a transformed demographic milieu as old patrons left for Pakistan. Some of these shrines were major centers of veneration in the pre-partition milieu. There was no clarity on the status of these shrines, and the state perceived them as enemy properties. However, for the people who were migrating their familial spaces in Pakistan, location of these shrines at least partially substituted the lived landscape. For instance, in the case of Panchpir Dargah at Abohar, it is the Kamboj family, after migrating from Montgomery, helped rejuvenate the shrine by instituting langar and ritual practice on Thursdays as well as annual fairs. However, in the case of the shrine of Haji Ratan, partition induced an end to Dargah's relationship with Naths, who used to come for Baba Ratan's Urs and participated in wrestling tournaments. One of the most fascinating aspects of this rejuvenation was the beginning of Urs celebration at Sufi shrines. Urs has been a predominant occasion of celebration at most Chishti, Qadri and Sohrawardi shrines, particularly associated with Samait Qawwali. Unlike the processions of Muharram that are usually marked by ritual mourning, Urs is an overcoming of physical death, a testimony of life after life, and its meaning consists not in the mourning for the saint, but in the joy from contact with his barakah. That is why near a tomb you will see neither tears nor hear sorrowful moans. Here you will come across altogether different sounds. Since the pir's tomb is present on an earthly plane, he is accessible to ordinary believers. Also, precisely because the pir has achieved his urs, that is, union with his beloved, the ultimate goal of Sufi gnostic experience, he is in far closer communion with Allah than a living person could ever hope to be. Hence, his capacity to act as an intercessor. Roger Ballard narrates this observation on Sufi shrines of Doab. And I quote, although virtually all the indigenous Muslim population of the Doab fled west to Pakistan over a century ago, careful inspection revealed that a significant number of rural shrines were those of pirs, since the shrouds covering such well-tended tombs and the flags which flew over them were green. The largest of these shrines became hives of activity on each Jumarat, the evening preceding the Islamic day of prayer on Friday, and positively burst with energy at the annual Urs of the saintly Pir entombed within it. Even though the local Muslim population had long disappeared, it follows that virtually all those making use of the shrine belonged to local Hindu or Sikh families. Several such festivals are organized today at Amritsar, a city that is particularly popular for the veneration of popular saints like Baba Lakhdata, Guga Pir, and Khwaja Khizr. Amritsar also has substantial influence of Chishti Sabri Silsila through the shrine of Kalir Sharif that plays an important role in the circulation of literature, mystic ideology, and associated with a network of shrines from Amritsar, Batala to Patiala. It is important to note that public rituals around sage shrines have become very prominent half a century after partition of India and almost a decade after a terrible period of violent militancy movement in Punjab. One such Urs has been annually organized by Sai Baba Gopesha Chishti Faridi Sabri in the walled city of Amritsar for the past 11 years. In the year 2007, the practice of organizing a Qawwali Darbar was also started. Since then, Daban Sabri, the Darbari Qawwals of Kalir Sharif, perform at the shrine from day to night. On the occasion of the annual Urs organized in 2010, Sufi Rashid Mia, Sai Baba Meshisha, and Baba Gopesha were present. In this image, Baba Meshisha is received by Baba Gopesha. A jubilant murid is dancing in the backdrop. The fair is attended dominantly by non-Muslim audience and is organized under the banner of Anjuman Gulame Chishtiya Sabariya, an umbrella organization of Chishti Sabari followers in Punjab, founded by Baba Ghulam Jilani of Kalir Sharif, that also includes Hindus and Sikhs from several castes. The current president of the organization is Dr. Kittu Garewal from Jalandhar. The organization consists of Agrawals, Arodas, Brahmins, Jats, Khatris, Mahajans, Mazhabis, Masih, and Valmiki from among Hindus, Sikhs, and Christians. The branch at Amritsar does not consist of Muslims. The Urs is popularized through banners and posters, and it is pertinent to note that the poster of parent, sister, and adjacent shrines that circulate at various shrines in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. Some of them are congratulatory banners giving details of organizing committee or individuals, special guests, or affiliation of the shrine with other centers. Others are printed posters that give a detailed program of events and rituals organized during Urs. Usually, these festivals last for 2 to 3 days, and these posters give a detailed description of the patron saint in whose memory the Urs is being organized, ranging from mystics of Chishti, Qadri, Sohrawardi, and Chishti Sabri orders. One such poster from Batala Sharif details the program of Urs, also popularly called Mela, in the memory of Pir Buddu Shah in the year 2010, which was attended by Pirs and Khadims from Ajmer Sharif, Kalir Sharif, Panipat Sharif, and Gudam Sharif, besides Qawwals from Malerkotla and Philor. The program includes Fatiha Khani, Kushtiyan, Chadar Poshi, Qawwaliyan, Langar, and Ghusl Sharif. Yet another example of rejuvenation of Sufi saint veneration practices is the coming of new Pir Khanas in the Malwa region of post-partition Punjab. The practice of constructing memorial shrines of saints known as Pir Khanas in Punjab has been recorded by colonial ethnographers like H.A. Rose, Sakhi Sarwar, popularly known as Lalla Wala or Lakhdata Pir, and Sheikh Haider, popularly known as Haider Sheikh, constitutes to be one of the most popular saints to be revered at Pir Khanas. Built on the boundaries of villages, Pir Khanas are 8 to 10 feet in each direction and covered with a dome and with low minarets or pinnacles at each of the 4 corners. In front, there is usually a doorway that opens outward to a plastered brick platform. Most Pir Khanas are concentrated in the adjoining regions of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan and managed by Agrawal Sabha, an organization of Hindu trading castes usually classified as Baniyas. The majority of Pir Khanas emerged in the post-partition period as a continuation of the tradition of venerating pirs pre-partition. The Pir Khana at Abohar, a frontier town in Indian Punjab, came up in the first decade of the 21st century and hence makes an interesting study of re-enchantment with these practices in recent times. Baba Makhan Lal narrates that there was a tradition in his family to visit and pay thanksgiving to Sohrawardi Saint Haider Sheikh of Malerkotla at the birth of his son, occasion of a marriage, etc. Dr. Darshan narrates that once his father had a pawn or a dream revelation of unconscious mistakes committed by his family, which led them into enormous economic difficulties. He adds that until 1940, his great-grandfather was a rich and prosperous businessman. But when his great-grandfather stopped worshipping pirs and lighting chirag lamps at the nearby shrine, the family apparently started to suffer losses and was reduced to penury for the 3 years beginning in 1958. Later, his father Tirth Chand restarted the practice of venerating pirs. He narrated how he had a pawn where the Baba of Malerkotla asked him the reason for which his family stopped worshipping pirs post-partition. In 2004, Master Shambhunath arrived at the house of Dr. Darshan Pal during a chowki organized by Baba Kishan Lal of Rampura Phul and offered a piece of land to establish a Pir Khana at Abohar. Punjabi Agrawal Sabha did not find the place suitable for establishing a Pir Khana since it was located in a Dalit colony. 2 years later, Master Shambhu offered the same piece of land again. And on 17th May 2007, it was finally decided to establish Pir Khana at the same site. The chairperson of Shri Pir Khana Sabha Abohar says that in a span of 2 years after the establishment of the shrine, 25 lakh rupees had been spent on the expansion of the Pir Khana. These shrines thus become what Perry Nora calls sites of memory. Memory plays a crucial role in the social space of saint veneration, particularly with the partition of the province in 1947 that permanently reordered the sacred landscape of migrants. This abrupt transformation didn't leave much scope of coming back and revisiting the familiar spaces and neighborhoods that were left behind as borders became almost permanent with each subsequent decade. When Baba Makhan Lal narrates his family's veneration of shrines of peace, his quest for memory becomes the search for one's history.